Good evening and welcome to Film Forum, Atlanta's newest talk show. I'm Steve Markos. With me, Aron Siegel.
How you doing tonight, Steve?
Doing all right. What kind of show do we have tonight, Aron?
We've got an exciting show for all our viewers.
That sounds great. As usual, we are reviewing two new films that will be coming out. And Aron, what films are we going to be telling the audience about this week?
Well, tonight we've got Falling Down, and we've also got Untamed Heart.
All right, and that sounds like a winner. And then for our Critics' Choice, we'll be having our favorite performances by an actress, I should say, in a drama. And no special guest tonight. We do have a special report. Aron, what are we going to do for our special report
Our
here?
special report tonight is going to be very special. For those of you that aren't aware of the Oscar nominations, the Academy Award nominations, we'll be announcing those later on, just for those of you that have been keeping tuned to us specifically.
Yeah, so that'll be a great feature for everybody. Well, we might as well get started. We got a lot to cover. We're going to start off with our first film tonight. Will be Falling Down.
Okay, guess I'll go ahead and take that from you then. Falling Down stars Michael Douglas and Robert Duvall and was directed by Herbert Ross. It's the story of a civil defense worker who is just caught up in the madness of modern city living and finally just breaks one day. And he's on his way to work, and he's just tired of traffic. He gets out of his car, leaves the car in the middle of traffic, and walks along and starts to do all sorts of bizarre things that everybody just wants to do. So what I'd like to do now is set up a scene from Falling Down. This is where Michael Douglas is arguing with a street worker about what's wrong with the streets. And here's the scene from Falling Down.
Street. We're fixing it. What the hell does it look like? 2 days ago it was fine. You telling me the street fell apart in 2 days? Well, I guess so. Pardon me, but that's bull. I want to know what's wrong with the street. See, I don't think anything's wrong with the street. I think you're just trying to justify your inflated budgets. What are you, nuts? No, I know how it works. If you don't spend the money you have projected this year, they won't give you the same amount next year. Now, I want you to admit there's nothing wrong with the street. You're not going to hold us hostage here with these yellow lights and all these big trucks. Look, I'm just here to keep people from falling in, that's all. I want to hear it from you. What's wrong with the street?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I think it's a sewer job.
You're lying. What's wrong with the street?
Nothing.
I knew it. See? I knew it was fine. But I'll give you something to fix.
Jesus, man, what the hell? Here! What are you... Hey, Charlie! Come on, please, man! Charlie! Look out!
Nothing happened.
Must have been a dud or something like that.
And that's a scene from Falling Down, starring Michael Douglas and Robert Duvall. Also has performances by Barbara Hershey and an excellent performance by Tuesday Weld. It was directed by Joel Schumacher.
And that's coming out this Friday. And I was disappointed in this movie, not because of the fact that it wasn't a good movie, but I think the advertising for this movie is completely misleading. I felt lied to.
It does seem a little bit misleading.
Yeah, I mean, the ad, I've talked to a lot of people that I've said, have you seen the clips and the ads for this movie? Then everyone says, oh, yeah, it's as funny as it looks.
It does. It looks like a very funny film.
Yeah, and the thing is not a funny movie. It makes it look like it's about this guy who's this just average Joe who is...
well, he is an average Joe.
Standing up for his rights, and he's just sick and tired of all the crap that goes on, and he goes around like he goes into a 7-Eleven or whatever, and some guy won't give him change unless he buys something, so he smashes the store up. All these things that you would just love to do.
Right, and you think about these things as comedy things, but the problem is that he's just so he's so average about it. He wants to do all of these things, and he does all of these things, and gets in trouble for doing all of these things.
Well, eventually, though, the reason I felt the film was misleading, yeah, he does these things, and it's great, but as he comes upon each situation and each conflict, it becomes more and more muddled as to whether he's doing good or is he becoming bad, And as the movie, by the end of the movie,
Right.
he's bad. He's not doing
he
things
says
that are good anymore.
Because he says to the cop, he says, "Am I one of the bad guys now?"
Yeah, because he eventually has become a bad guy. And I think it confused me a lot because when he started doing bad things, I kept saying, wait a second, he's not supposed to be bad. He's supposed to be a good guy.
He's supposed to just be a vigilante that's just standing up for his rights.
Well, I'll tell you what the movie's really about, and I think if people know this. This movie is about a guy who snaps with a mental problem, who has a nervous breakdown. You read about these guys all the time in the newspaper. He loses his job, loses his family. What's he do? He walks into his old place of work and kills everybody, or goes home and kills his family. That's what this movie's about. It's about a guy that's on the verge of doing that. By the end of the movie, he has become a bad person. He's no longer an enjoyable character. And he doesn't kill his family or his bosses or stuff, but you get the idea that if somebody doesn't stop him, he is just about to do it. This movie is really a psychological drama. It's not a satire or a comedy like the ads make it out to be.
It's a social commentary. Is more what it is. It's not really it's not so much of a comedy as it seems to be.
But the ads do make it look like this is a comedy.
Well, especially with the clip that everybody keeps showing of him in the fast food restaurant.
Yeah, I thought the movie was going to be like that the whole movie, and I said, this is going to be great. This guy's doing everything that I always wanted to do but don't have the nerve to do.
He starts out doing everything.
He starts off just like
anybody else would do, and then he ends up just going just a little bit too far. He's past the point of no return.
Yeah, but because he's broken down. He's psychological. He's on the verge of going to kill his family, or
at least you think that.
You get the idea that if someone doesn't stop him, he's going to do that. So this isn't really supposed to be funny. It's really, like I said, it's kind of sad. And the reason that I felt disappointed is because of the ads. And if I knew what it was supposed to be about to begin with, I would approach the movie in a totally different light, and I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. Because people are going to come out of this movie saying, I was expecting X, but it ended up Y, and if I wanted Y, I wouldn't have gone in the first place.
Because we were both expecting comedies.
Yes, and everyone I've talked to has expect comedy, so don't expect a comedy out of this thing.
There are some funny scenes, though.
Yeah, but like I said, he does turn
bad. Not a comedy.
So what do you give it for stars here?
3 stars.
3 stars. I was giving it 2 stars, an average movie, because, and a lot of that is maybe because I was misled and I felt cheated. So we're just saying it comes out to 2.5 stars. And remember, we're on a 4-star system.
Okay, we want to remind everybody that we are a call-in program, and you can reach us at 873-6713 if you have a question or a comment about the films that we're reviewing.
All right.
Or if you just want to
call and chat.
If you want to call and chat.
All right.
Exactly.
Let's get on to our second film today. This movie came out about 2 weeks ago. It's called Untamed Heart and stars Christian Slater, Marissa Tomei, and Rosie Perez, and was directed by Tony Bill. Untamed Heart is a love story set in a Minneapolis diner in which Adam, who's played by Christian Slater, works as a busboy. Now, he's very shy and very withdrawn. In fact, a lot of people that work there have never even heard the guy talk before. On the other hand, Caroline, who's played by Marissa Tomei, who is a waitress at the diner, she's very outgoing, very beautiful. However, she doesn't have much luck with men. One day when she's walking home, she's accosted by a couple of drunks, and Adam comes to her rescue. The next day at work, she's really not sure how to thank them. In fact, she's a little apprehensive about thanking them. She eventually gets around to doing it. They don't have much of a conversation because, remember, Adam is not too much of a conversationalist. But as the movie progresses, they get to know each other a little more, and Adam opens up to her, and eventually Caroline becomes his only true friend. And the scene we're about to take a look at from Untamed Heart is when Caroline is thanking Adam for saving her life from the 2 would-be rapists.
How do you know where I live? Huh? Have you? Well, have you? Your hand. I know. That's as scared as I've ever been in my whole life. Just get squirrels in my stomach thinking about it. Don't take this the wrong way. Thank you.
Follow you home.
me home? What?
I wasn't finished.
Finished?
Follow you home and walk to make sure you're safe.
All right, and that's the scene from Untamed Heart, which opened up a couple weeks ago. I would like to start off saying, number one, that this is 100% a romance. This is not a action-adventure romance or a comedy romance. This is romance. I know a lot of guys out there right now are going, you know.
No, this is a great film to take your girlfriend to.
Oh, yeah, man. Girls are going to love this movie.
Yeah.
And I think guys will like it also.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think
it's a film for both girls and guys.
I don't think it's something
it's a
that
love
guys,
story.
Yeah, guys need to be afraid of. It is a true romance.
It's not like a fried green tomatoes. It's not just a girls' movie. It's a love story. So this is a film for both girls and guys.
Yeah. One of the things that I liked about the film was the two characters, Caroline and Adam, to me, were some of the best characters I've seen on film in a long time. I really loved these characters a lot. I love Marissa Tomei, who is nominated for supporting actress for My Cousin Vinny.
Which we will announce later.
Yeah, you got a sneak preview there. Does a very good job. She is a perfect girlfriend. I mean, to me, it's like if I had to have a girlfriend, it would be her.
And she doesn't have the Bronx accent or the Brooklyn accent.
No, she has to be trained for the Minneapolis accent.
It's a very good part for her.
Yeah, and what I like, I was going to say, she's now on my list of the very few female actresses out there that I think are just hot. Now she's added to Ellen Barkin, Greta Scacchi, and who else do I have on there? Rebecca De Mornay. Now I'm putting Marissa Tomei on that list of the very few actresses out there I really enjoy physically. But Christian Slater, I'm not a Christian Slater fan, but I found his character to be very sympathetic.
This was a very good character. This is a very different character for Christian Slater. He was much better in this film. He wasn't quite so cocky as he's been in all the other films that he's been in, as Pump Up the Volume or Heathers or something like that. This is a very good role for Christian Slater. It's a very sedate role for him, but it's very good.
Yeah, as far as the story, to me it seemed like more of a generic story. That could have been this story, could have been 1,000 others, but I think the real drawing card of the film here is the characters. To me, I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, very good.
Now the ending, I was very disappointed in the ending.
Well, we won't tell anybody about the
ending.
ending.
Well, I won't tell the ending, but I wanted drama, and there was no drama.
It was a love story.
Yeah, but some people are like saying, I talked to this friend of mine, and she says, I said, well, there's no drama in it. She says, yeah, but it was sweet and realistic. And I said, well, if I want realistic, I wouldn't go to the movies. I want drama. And the movie brought tears to my eyes throughout the movie, and in the end, which was supposed to be the climatic tearjerker, I was like, wait a second here. I was angry. I was angry because I couldn't cry. I was very disappointed in the ending.
Okay. How many stars?
If it wasn't for the ending, I'd give it 4 stars, but I'm going to go with 2.5 right now because of the ending.
I was giving it 3.5.
3.5? So
Yeah,
we're
I liked
at
it.
3 stars, which is a good above-average film.
Yeah, it's
And
a good film.
definitely women will like it.
We're going to go ahead and take a phone call.
Go
Hello, caller.
Go back later. Come back later. You know?
Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hi. What do you know about Army of Darkness?
Army of Darkness.
Well, it's kind of a silly film, if you like silly films.
Silly. Evil Dead 2 wasn't silly.
You didn't think it was silly?
No,
What, Evil Dead 2?
What?
Evil Dead 2?
Yeah, this is a sequel
Evil Dead
story.
2 is completely different from this.
Yeah, but it continues from there, doesn't it?
Kind of. This is more like a parody of Evil Dead and Evil Dead 1.
Well, I think it's the same character, and I heard it was a
Can you
continuation.
rub it because he gets that steel hand and everything?
Yeah, did you see Evil Dead 1 and 2?
I just thought so.
You
You
didn't
just
see
saw
Evil Dead 1?
No, but he did.
Yeah. I would say if you like those movies, from what I understand, you'll like Army of Darkness.
I will.
Is that the way it is?
I guess.
All right, well, that's what we think about it. I haven't seen Evil Dead or 1 or 2, so I have no idea.
So did you see Army of Darkness yet?
No.
You'll probably like it though. I mean, if you liked Evil Dead and if you like did you like Darkman?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, well it's the same director, so you'll probably like Army of Darkness. I mean, he's got the chainsaw and he's got the steel hand and.
Yeah, it's kind of silly to me, but you may enjoy it. All righty?
Okay.
All right,
you.
see you later. All right, and I guess that wraps up that. Let's get on with our Atlanta Top 10 box office
Okay,
draws.
we're going to take a look at the Metro Atlanta box office for this week. These were the films that you went to see this past weekend. And starting out at number 10 is this holds on to the top 10 spot after 9 weeks of release. For the 10th week in the top 10 is A Few Good Men, directed by Rob Reiner, stars Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson. And dropping one notch to number 7 is a film we just reviewed, Untamed Heart. And falling from number 4 to number 7 is National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1. Also, number 6, breaking into the top 10 after 6 Academy Award nominations, is The Crying Game.
So in other words, that wasn't in the top 10 until this week because it went from about one theater in Atlanta to about 16 of them.
Right. I got to see it over at the Cobb Place 8. This is out in Kennesaw, and there were like 50, 60 people. This was on a Sunday night to see The Crying Game.
People are very interested in the
They're
movie.
very curious about it, and like we said before, we're not going to tell you too much about it. Number 5, the 13th week in the top 5 is Aladdin. This is the Walt Disney film of the story of the same name.
The biggest grossing animated film of all time.
Okay, number 4 is Army of Darkness, the only new movie debuting this week in the top 10. Number 3, dropping from number 2, is the Jodie Foster, Richard Gere remake, Summersby.
And you saw that, what'd you think?
I liked it.
Did you?
I thought it was pretty good. Number 2 is Homeward Bound. This is a remake of the Disney film. It's a Disney remake of a Disney.
Incredible Journey.
Right. That moves
original.
up from number 3 to number 2. And at number 1 for the second week in a row is Groundhog Day. That's that Bill Murray film that we reviewed last week.
All right.
Okay.
And now,
We've got another call, don't we?
go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes. I want to ask you about that Summersby movie with Richard Gere.
All
Yes.
right. Aaron will have to answer that one.
Okay, it's a remake of the French film called The Return of Martin Guerre, or Martin Guerre. And in order to make this film more believable, the script had to be written for the Reconstruction South, like 1866, instead of during the French times. Anything specific you want to know about it?
Yes, I was reading like in the magazine about it was a remake of that movie with Depardieu?
I'm not sure. I don't think Gerard Depardieu was in that.
Oh, he wasn't?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I'm not sure at all.
Oh, okay, well, I thought he was, and I was reading it was like a big con. It was a big remake of that movie.
Yeah, it is. It's a remake. There are several remakes that are coming out these days. Summersby is a remake. What's the other one that's a remake?
The Vanishing.
The Vanishing and
La Femme Nikita.
La Femme Nikita is being remade as
I can't remember the name of it. With Bridget Fonda.
Point of No Return.
Point of No Return. Well, it is a lot of these foreign films. No one's going to see them because they're in subtitles and they're good movies, so they decide they'll make them for an American audience.
The Vanishing specifically, they use the same director, and as Steve pointed out, they use the same exact camera angles too. All they did was just change the screenplay from Dutch?
Yeah, to
Dutch
American.
into English.
So,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
all right, now let's
Okay.
get on with our Critics' Choice. This week we were doing our favorite performances by a female in a drama. Aaron, what's your favorite 3?
My favorite 3 performances by a female. This was a tough one, Steve. Actually, just trying to limit it down to just 3 performances by a female in a drama, an actress, was very difficult. Number 3 on my list was Sally Field in Steel Magnolias. This came out in 1989. It's about a bunch of women that socialize at a beauty parlor that's run by Dolly Parton. Not Dolly Parton, but her character in the film. Anyway, Sally Field plays the mother of actress Julia Roberts, whose character is a diabetic, and she has an excellent performance in this film. I believe she had some nominations, but there were no Academy Awards for her performance. My number 2 favorite film performance was definitely Jessica Tandy in Driving Miss Daisy. She won the Best Actress performance for this in 1989, and it was a great role for Jessica Tandy, and it was a great comeback for a woman of her age. And my number 1 favorite film performance had to have been Louise Fletcher as Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Came out in 1975 and was one of the first films to sweep the top 5 Academy Award nominations since it happened one night. And Louise Fletcher took home the Best Actress Award, well deserved. I could not watch Louise Fletcher in a film for months, practically years after this film because I hated her character so much. Those are my top 5. Why don't we take a phone call before we go to yours?
All right,
Got a
go
phone
ahead,
call.
caller, you're on there.
Hello, caller?
Yes, caller, you're on there.
Hello, caller?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Did you not say a moment ago that the original film of Homeward Bound did not star Gerard Depardieu?
No, that was
Return of Martin Guerre?
Summersby.
Summersby. Do you have some information with you that tells you about the return of Martin Guerre?
The Return of Martin Guerre did star Gerard Depardieu.
Okay,
All right.
I wasn't sure.
So we stand
well,
corrected.
it did.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
Hey, you're welcome.
All right, thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, now on to my Critic's Choice. My number 3 is a movie that came out in 1991, My Girl, and the person I liked in it was Anna Klumsky. She was the little girl. Dan Aykroyd, Macaulay Culkin, and Jamie Lee Curtis got top billing in this movie, but it's really about Veda Sultanfuss, who's Anna Klumsky. She stole the show from these people. She gave the best performance by a child actress that I've ever seen. And I don't think that she's done anything since. She's a very pretty girl, and I'm sure she's going to grow up to be a beautiful girl and hopefully be in some other movies. And I need to give her my phone number so she can call me in 10 years. Great performance, and one of the best movies I saw of '91. My second favorite is Mary McDonnell in Dances with Wolves. She stars as Stands with a Fist. I fell in love with her. I went to see the movie one night. The next night I had to go back again by myself because I wanted to see her again and also enjoyed the movie very much. She lost out to Whoopi Goldberg in the Best Supporting Actress nomination for Ghost. Whoopi won for Ghost. I don't agree with that. I think Mary McDonnell deserved it. And she's right now nominated for Passion Fish. And my favorite of all time, even though this isn't a drama, and a lot of these actresses complain that there's not a lot of good roles for women in Hollywood. I have to agree with him because though Aron said he had a hard time coming up with actresses, I had a hard time thinking of 3. So I had to go to a romantic comedy called Broadcast News and Holly Hunter's performance in 1987. I couldn't think of any others than just dramas. She lost to Sharon Moonstruck, which to me is one of the great all-time Academy Award injustices. I thought Holly Hunter gave the best performance by an actress I have ever seen in this movie. And wonderful performance as a fiery TV executive producer. Since then, she's been in Swing Shift, Raising Arizona, Miss Firecracker Always, and Once Around. If you enjoy her, you may want to check out some of those films. And those are my favorite performances by a woman.
Okay.
Now we got our video releases.
Do we have a call?
No,
we got our home video releases.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get on with our home video releases. This week, coming out on video, we have Cool World.
That's the animated. It's like an adult version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes. Light Sleeper with William Dafoe and Susan Sarandon, which is, I believe, a drug dealer type film. Little Nemo, Honeymoon in Vegas, Rapid Fire with Brandon Lee, that's Bruce Lee's son, and Sneakers, which was the first movie we ever reviewed on
Honeymoon in Vegas is the film with Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
And it's got all of these Elvis impersonators in the film. It has the flying stunt Elvises.
Sounds like a winner. On pay-per-view this week, we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, which is supposed to be horrible from what I hear. Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Which is the sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kid.
And I heard that's supposed to be bad. And A Stranger Among Us.
Stranger Among Us is great.
Is it? And you can check Channel 34 for showtimes.
Okay. We want to go ahead and take this phone call.
All right, caller, go ahead.
Yes, I would like for you to discuss remakes of American movies, like they made a remake of It's a Wonderful World. No, It's a Wonderful World, Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life with Marlo Thomas.
You mean just more updated versions of them?
Right. So I would like to know what you think of those movies.
Here's a great one. Okay, are you familiar with Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Michael Caine and Steve Martin?
Right.
That was a remake of a film with. Marlon Brando and David Niven. Marlon Brando actually played the Steve Martin role. It
No,
was
I
called-
don't think I saw that.
It was called Bedtime Story.
There's zillions of them out there. Some of them are better, some of them are worse, for all I know.
Remakes are done specifically to
Get new actors in there.
to get new actors in
New
there to
stars.
enhance, because a lot of times the scripts that are coming out today are not quite as good as the scripts that were coming out back then.
You have an audience.
You know
that's kind
the
of built in.
movie A Star is Born? You know, I think they made that
Three
times.
times.
Right.
3 times. One time with Frederick March, one time with Chris Christopherson, and there was a third one.
I can't remember. All right, well, thanks for the
The,
call.
the third one was with James Mason.
James Mason. Okay.
All right, thanks for the call.
Thank
Thank you.
All right, goodbye.
All right.
Now on to the special report.
We've got a special report for you this week. On,
You better hurry up.
on Film Forum, we're going to announce to you the Oscar nominations, just in case you weren't aware of them. And Steve, why don't you go ahead and start off with
All right,
yours?
we'll start off with visual effects. We have Alien 3, Batman Returns, and Death Becomes Her.
Okay. For sound effects, we have Aladdin, Dracula, and Under Siege.
All right, and for sound, which is the co-part the sound effects editing, we have A Few Good Men, Last of the Mohicans, Under Siege, and Unforgiven.
Okay. For costumes, we've got Dracula, Enchanted April, Howard's End, Malcolm X, and Toys.
All right, and now we'll go to the original musical score. I'll cover that one. We have the score from Aladdin, Basic Instinct, Chaplin, Howard's End, and A River Runs Through It.
And for songs, we have Beautiful Maria of My Soul, A Friend Like Me from Aladdin, I Have Nothing from The Bodyguard, Run to You from The Bodyguard, Whole New World from Aladdin.
All right, since we're running late, I'm going to start here at the top. Best Picture, we have A Few Good Men, Scent of a Woman, The Crying Game, Unforgiven, and Howard's End.
And Best Actor, we've got Stephen Ray for The Crying Game, Clint Eastwood for Unforgiven, Al Pacino for Scent of a Woman, Denzel Washington for Malcolm X, and Robert Downey Jr. for Chaplin.
All right, and we'll do one last one here. Actress, we have Catherine Deneuve in Indochine, Mary McDonnell for Passion Fish, Michelle Pfeiffer in Love Field, Susan Sarandon in Lorenzo's Oil, and Emma Thompson for Howard's End. And I
Okay.
guess
We want to remind you to tune in next week on Film Forum when we have 2 feature releases, like Strictly Ballroom, and we'll have a Critics' Choice. It's going to be gangster movies.
And we also have Mad Dog and Glory. We'll be reviewing that.
Right, and we'll also we'll have a special guest that is a stuntman. That's next week on Film Forum, Wednesday night, 10 o'clock, Channel 1012. Check us out. See you next
Remember,
Wednesday.
Film Forum, party time, excellent.
Excellent.